Okay, how's your morning? I hope you guys had a restful night. Yeah. So I wanted to just start by, yes, glad to have you here as well. So I just wanted to start by recapping from yesterday's session for those who may have missed it. We started off by speaking about personal branding yesterday, and we took a different tangent. So instead of going into what personal branding is, making it a lecture, what we did is we actually recruited yesterday. So we went through a recruitment process, and we saw the different ways in which people make decisions, and that some of the experience that someone has with you throughout the recruiting process is your personal brand. Yeah. And we also talked about how your personal brand it's that intersection between what it is that you want, the personal brand that you're projecting, what that is. It's the intersection of what you want and the intersection of what other, let's say the market wants. Yeah. And that place where they meet is how you're expressing your personal brand, or that's the ideal of how you want to express your personal brand. And yeah, so that was a very engaging exercise. Thank you everyone for contributing. We had very different opinions on who should actually make the final cut. So it's very engaging. If you missed that, it will be on the recording next week. So be on the lookout for that. There'll be an email and an SMS that goes out once those are uploaded. Yes, and then we covered assessments with Vicky, recruiting assessments, but more than that, just how these technical assessments, whether about behavioral abilities or about technical abilities, are done, various different kinds of assessments and their place in the recruiting, in recruiting, but in general, how it helps you personally to do an assessment. We even talked about how you could do an assessment with your family, and Vicky shared her experience and how that helped her. So yeah, that was also a very engaging session. If you missed that, again, a recording next week. So so I don't know if anyone else wants to add what they, what stuck out to them during those two sessions. Please feel free to share in the chat. All right, as maybe you're recapping there, I just wanted to introduce Juliet, our speaker for this session. So Juliet is the director at Alternate Doors Consulting, and she is a certified public accountant, but she also holds a high diploma in human resource management, and she's been recruiting, facilitating training, and consulting in HR for quite a number of years. She's had the privilege of working in General Electric in Sydney, Australia. And there she had a lot of experience in training and management, and also worked in ISEC, which is a youth organization. And building new chapters. All of this culminated in her realizing she had a love for recruiting, and that she really wanted to see people develop, and that's why she set up Alternate Doors, and it works with a lot of companies in Kenya, building teams and recruiting across the country. And she has also worked in projects where she set up MSMEs, or micro, small and medium businesses, that is, in digital platforms within Africa. And she has lots of clients in Africa, supporting them to get right talent and manage their human resources. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you, guys. Kennedy, yes. I know some people attending today, so I just wanted those who had been here to share. Yeah, we learned about LinkedIn, the 90-day plan. Yeah, it was interesting to see the relation between a candidate's social media pages and recruitment. Also was exciting getting into the recruiter's mind. Yeah, I'm glad I'm getting. One should see personal development from a selfish point of view and also learn to let go of the outcome. That's an interesting way to put it. Okay, how to do an appealing resume. Yesterday I was clever, so I want to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing it. Thank you, Robinson. That was the closing quote from Vicky yesterday. Yes, Caroline, social media can be used to access you and applying for positions, yes. And actually, blocking all your social media accounts can be disadvantageous. Yeah, it's one of the things we talked about. The 360-degree concept, yeah, Wendy. How my CV and LinkedIn profile can make me stand out, Yvonne. Thank you, exactly. Yeah, so we covered quite a lot of details there. Okay, so for this session, Juliet wasn't able to make it live. She had another commitment, unfortunately, but she was very kind to do a recording for all of you to have a listen to her session.
Hi, everyone. My name is Juliet Gateri from Alternate Doors Consulting. So welcome to the career planning session. So today I'm going to take you through on what sets senior candidates apart. Like I said, my name is Juliet. I've been in the HR and recruitment industry for 7 years. So I've been able to encounter a lot of situations on where some senior candidates are failing and some are excelling. So feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn is Juliet Gateri, or you can also go to our LinkedIn page, Alternate Doors. So let's look at the emerging realities in when it comes to career planning. So I think what most people forget is you need to have a plan and you need to know what you need to focus on as a senior candidate. So some of the things we expect the entry level candidates to do in terms of mistakes, but the higher you go, of course, you need to have a better strategy. So emerging realities when it comes to senior candidates is creating yourself as a brand. So being a brand, self-awareness. So this is quite lacking, and sometimes we end up taking up jobs that are not meant for us. Networking. Remember, your net worth is your network is your net worth. Also working with professionals, for example, like us recruiters, your attitude, research, are you a unicorn, are you unique, and of course, confidence. So let's start off with the brand. So are you a brand? So if you look at this picture, I'm sure you don't need to be told. If you see a picture, you know which company it is. So are we able to view you as a candidate, as a brand? Are we able to see, let's say, for example, if your name is Juliet, so what is Juliet known for? So do you have that brand name? So it can be in the company, people know you for something, or externally, people know you for something as well. So so in most big companies, CEOs are recruited internally. So especially if you've positioned yourself properly, you're able to grow up there, to move up the ladder. So once you have a brand, I'm sure in your companies you have people who are known for something. So if you want work to be done, you go to that person in that department. And it's easier for that person to grow because now they've interacted with many people. People know them. They are good at this thing X. And of course, make sure you earn recognition and reputation for the right reasons. So as you go up, make sure the negativity also goes away as well, because the more senior you become, the more you're put under a microscope. So just make sure you build yourself as a brand. So for example, what a company would do to build a brand, you should do the same as an individual. So of course, being a brand, you have to exist online. You have to have content, just the same as a company. So I think once you have established your brand, I think it will be easier for companies to reach out to you, people internally to reach out to you. So the bigger, the more defined your brand, the better and easier for you as a senior candidate. So how can you do this? So make sure you have a strong active and LinkedIn presence. You're active in extracurricular activities. In the office, for example, you become a volunteer and a thought leader in something. So you can also give talks outside work, write published articles. You can do videos as well. I think a professional firm like a PR firm can also help you build a brand and a name. So you can even write articles in the newspapers, magazines, so at least you're known for a specific thing. So are you self-aware? Do you know yourself? I think what sometimes is lacking in most candidates is lack of self-awareness. So you're chasing after a role or a position in future, but you're not you're not fit for that role. So even if you take up that role, you're not able to perform. So I think from the small research we've done is most senior candidates or most senior level executives, they get fired because of performance, nothing else. So the small life skills, I think those ones you've been able to cover. But now when it comes to performance, that's now where most of the senior candidates are fired. So make sure you know yourself, what motivates you, your strengths, your capabilities, your character, so that when you're in a job, you're able to perform optimally. And also, the more self-aware you are, even if you are working with professionals, externals, internals, you're able to know what are your limits. For example, if I present a job to you, you do your research, the company is not very, let's say, friendly to their employees, and you thrive in an environment where you need support. So probably that's not the right path for you. So how can you build your self-awareness? So make sure you have defined your goals, what you want. So once you have defined your goals, then you can look at your aptitudes. So these are your strengths. So let's say, for example, my goal is in the next 10 years, I want to be the CEO of this company or XX company. So what are my strengths? So that you can play around your strengths. And then interests, what you like and what you don't like. So this one, once you define it, you're able to know what are your limits, what can you take up and what can you not take up. And then personality style, how you think, how you behave. So once you know your personality style, you know how to work with other people as well. You know what are your triggers. So at least, like I said, you'll be under a microscope. So it's better to know your personality style and how to deal with different situations. Of course, values are also important. So do you have similar synergies in terms of values and what is important to you? So this, so once you define this, then you can be able to know what you can be able to take up and what you cannot be able to take up. So your network is your network is your net worth. So relationships play a very important role, especially for senior levels. So most of the jobs are not usually advertised, especially senior roles. You'd find most companies would come to us as recruiters and they don't want us to advertise. So they just want us to work with the candidates who are in our database or candidates that we know. So what usually happens is they don't reach out to us only. They also reach out to other people. Let's say, for example, I'm looking for a finance manager. So I'm looking for a finance manager who can be able to do this, 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 this. And this is a senior role. So you'd find the connections now. Let's say if you had attended a conference or an event, you're active online. So people are able to know this is your brand. So you're in finance, you do this type of finance. And when somebody asks for this type of person, then they are able to refer you. So if you sit as a loner somewhere and the connections, you're not putting yourself out there to connect with other people, then it also becomes hard for you to get to know what's happening in the market, who's hiring, who's not, even internally. The activities that happen internally, you can be able to know what's the next step, what's the let's say another department is hiring, or there's a promotion internally. So you're able to know what is happening in the company, and also people are able to refer you to activities. So it cannot only be the jobs, but also, let's say, activities that will propel you to the next level. So make sure you focus on connections that are most beneficial to your career goals. So if you go all out in terms of networking, yes, it's good to make new friends, but it's clear that you need to focus as well, and you're focused on the career goals. So make sure you talk to new people. I think most events we go to, most people talk to people they know, and they avoid people they don't know. So just make sure you talk to new people so that your connection circle can also grow. And then, of course, introduce yourself. People need to know you. What is your brand? And then also just continuous reaching out to people you've connected to. So it doesn't have to be only when you need them. So it's good to constantly remind them who you are. So you can connect with them on LinkedIn, and they can be able to see what you're doing, the type of activities that you're doing. So working with professionals, so make sure you form good relationships with executive recruitment firms and other similar type of companies that can help you reach your career goals. So working with the right firms can be a very important way of positioning yourself. So for example, if you know this company recruits for this multinational, probably that's where maybe you need to start your conversations. You can take your CV to them. They can take you through what you need to work on. And it's also very good for you to be honest with them, so that when a position comes, then they're able to know where to place you. I think the most challenge that we have as recruitment firms is you give me your CV, then when a position comes, I tell you about it, then you start becoming difficult. Oh, this happened. No, I don't want. This is the amount of money. Yet we had already agreed earlier. So it's good to just be professional. Just be clear on what you want. And then also make sure you work with coaches who can be able to guide you on what you need to do. Just a minute. Work with coaches to guide you in what you need to do and move to the next step. Just like a company would reach out to a consultant to sort out any marketing issues they have. So even for you as a brand, it's important that you reach out to professionals who can be able to guide you in the right directions. And remember, when you're working with professionals, especially recruiters, the recruiters work for the company who is the client, not you. So sometimes what we do, we get candidates who are very demanding and forceful. So for example, comments would be like, I was qualified for this position. So I think the more professional you are, the better the firms would be able to support you. And then your attitude. Of course, people will work with people who they enjoy being around. So even as a HR person, when I'm interviewing a person and I sense some sort of a very negative or bad attitude, even if you are best at your work, you are the best in the country, I would not necessarily take you in, because I know I'll have a lot on my plate in terms of managing you as a person. So if you are difficult, constantly be writing warning letters, managing conflict with other employees. So that's what most HR people look at. And even business owners and department heads, they will look at the attitude. And if your attitude is negative, then possibility of you maybe rising or getting that new posh new job, then it's also a bit difficult. So make sure you check your attitude. That's why it's very important to be self-aware, so that you know what are your triggers, what can make your attitude negative or positive. And then research. So as part of your strategy, you need to do proper research in terms of what you're looking for. So for example, what you can do, you can create a list of 7 to 10 people you admire, and then check out their LinkedIn page. LinkedIn can take up a lot of searches, so you can be able to, even if it's, you can just say marketing director Kenya, and then you'll see a list of people on LinkedIn who are holding those positions. So once you look at those people and their career progression, then you can be able to see, okay, I'm at this level now, so I need to do this to move to the next step. So what you can also do is you can reach out to these people, and you can even request to have a small meeting with them, tea, coffee, and you can ask questions, or you can just do it by reaching out to them on their LinkedIn page. And then create another list of 5 to 10 organizations with whom you're interested in working. So just look at what type, just go back to Google or LinkedIn and check out how they hire, what type of people they hire, so you can be able to position yourself. So also just if these companies have events and activities, make sure you attend. And you can also meet people who work in the organizations and just learn more about the company. And then also, you can also create another list, companies that you have maybe some small interest in, and you can also just dig deeper on what they're doing, reach out to people there as well. And then, of course, keep a log of research. Like I said, the whole career growth and moving to a bigger role or getting a new job is a job in itself. So you need to be a bit more organized, and you treat yourself as a business, and you are now reaching out to potential clients. Are you a unicorn? So a unicorn is a mythical animal. It doesn't exist at all. But so characteristics of unicorn is its uniqueness. So you yourself as a brand, are you unique? So for example, in this country, if we need somebody who can be able to do for us XW in this industry, we know the perfect person we need to reach out to. So make sure you learn to talk about your strengths. So most people, I think, translating your strengths into a conversation, sometimes it's very difficult. That's why you need to work with professionals who can be able to guide you. And then, of course, once you've done your research and now you want to position yourself as a unicorn, then just look at areas you need to upskill, upgrade. And then also just talk to people, see what kind of skills are in demand in your particular career area or industry. And then now from there, you can upgrade and upskill. So the more unique you are, the higher the chances of now you moving to another role. Because competition will also be low because of that uniqueness aspect. Of course, confidence. I think the more you go through this process, can be job search, can be internal interviews. Maybe internally you've applied for 5 or 10 positions, but you never get them. So you're constantly in the interview room. So it can really put down your spirits, but confidence is very important, because confidence is the first thing I see or people see when you walk into a room. So if your confidence is low, then you've already eliminated yourself. So for example, if you're going in an interview room and your confidence is low, you're looking down, you've already put yourself down, and even the interviewers will see the same. So even in any company, if you're not confident, people will also not be confident with your strengths or your skills. So in closing, what I would advise is searching and applying for a new job is a job in itself. So just make sure you have the right tools, you have a proper plan, you have the right tools, and have a great team behind you. Especially if you're going now for the bigger roles, you need a strong team behind you, especially somebody who can be able to give you guidance and coaching, create your materials for you in terms of your CV, your presentations, and just putting yourself out there. So you can even, you probably may need to hire a PR team who can be able to now just make sure you are a thought leader. So even if it's for a small duration of time, just to make sure your articles are out there, your pictures are out there, you're attending events, your pictures are taken. So it requires a great team behind you so that you can now be a bit more visible to the people that you want to be visible to. So that is basically us. I'm open to take up any questions. So this is about us, Alternate Doors. And you can contact me via LinkedIn, email. I think Beryl will also advise you further, so we can take up any questions from there. Thank you.